This is it. Everything we've done so far, the airframe, the tilt rotors, the VTOL, the electronics, the software tuning, all of those challenges, it all leads to this moment. And it only makes sense if it flies. I just came back from the hover tests. It was a wild experience because we didn't know how to arm or disarm the plane. So what we did was we used the computer to force arm it, and then we didn't have a mechanism to disarm it after we plugged it off the computer. And we did some hover tests. It was interesting because it seemed like the plane didn't have enough power to take off. And then when I came home, it struck me that I think I put the battery way up at the front, so it made the plane nose heavy, so that it wouldn't be able to balance itself out. It wouldn't be able to use the third motor on the back, and maybe the issue with the center of gravity made it unable to hover. One of the pre-flight errors was that we didn't have an SD card inside of the flight computer. When trying to install the SD card, I actually broke the flight controller's pins here when both of the boards attached to each other. So I had to do a bit of resoldering, and then it turns out that I soldered these pins incorrectly, so I had to resolder like half of them because they were breaking through, they weren't sticking very well. So I went ahead and did that as well. And now that the plane is apart again, I decided to hook a 24-volt fan directly to the battery. So I'm not really sure whether that's a good idea, but we do need cooling, and we need a lot of it because it tends to get quite hot inside. I made a very rookie mistake, which might be one of the reasons we didn't have enough power to take off, because this prop should spin counterclockwise, but I installed the propeller wrong, and it starts with the trailing edge and it ends with the leading edge. So that's the wrong propeller. The next challenge was to actually assign the proper functions for the remote controller. So I am using this button to change flight modes. The lower position is actually Q loiter mode, which is the VTOL mode. The middle position is fly-by-wire A, which is forward flight. And then the top position is return to home in flying mode. I have then assigned this button to be return to home in hover mode. I have this button assigned for arming and disarming. And I have the C1 button assigned to circle mode, and that's when you're in forward flight. And the way you do that is, first of all, you can check which button corresponds to which value. And as you can see, when I click circle, it raises the flaps. Once you see which button corresponds to which value, you can easily set your flight modes here. You essentially assign the 3 flight modes to that same button, but that doesn't give you the rest of the options. For them, you go into config and you type RC channel, and when you do, you have this table. So this flight mode channel, this is the channel that corresponds to changing the flight modes. For me, it's number 5, the 3 toggle switch. And then I've added RC 7, 8 and 9 for the corresponding actions. This is return to home in VTOL mode. This is to arm and disarm a quad plane. And this is the circle mode. And that gives us pretty much enough flexibility in order to be able to use this controller, which I am about to test in a few hours.
So as you may have noticed, there was quite a lot of wiggling, and that was due to one of the servos that had this jerky motion. To this day I'm still not sure what caused it. I replaced it and then it started working, and then the second one started doing the same thing as I screwed a longer screw into it, which may have screwed with a sensor inside. I'm really not sure. This took me like weeks to figure out.